Yo, rhyme gatherer, feels like I was rapping with pun. Explicit, I'm a time traveler, rhyme scavenger. Hated by many, my vocabulary varies, aiming at every rapper, pretending I'm talking plenty. Watch them scatter, I'm earth shattering, reverses that'll rattle the earth. My words are packing in, punches like I was holding grudges, leaning on bars like crutches. You can say I've been in my back like pack lunches. I got a sweet tooth, I've been in the booth, not giving it up like a victim from me too. Too many copycats, it ain't worth it. I'd rather color outside the lines than to act perfect. The mad rapper, this beat caused me to catch a perfect body like fat transfer. Y'all need a solution, I needed a beat to feast with a 16 to bring executions. Looking at you rappers like my day will come for hip-hop. Put me on a corner, out one by one for hip-hop. Sitting in the trenches waiting on the word. All I need is a mic and a voice and they're done. Yo, the truth is, music has changed. I never had issues with new kids. These rap categories nominate them as best. I turn biased. Then I wanna challenge their pens like y'all don't got bars like that. I'm John Q, man, you boys don't get heart like that. Yo, I shattered dreams of something bad in your team. Naturally, I'm mad at being passionate. Packing 16s with ease, I'm passing them seeds like breeze. I'm a beast when I'm rapping. Cross the line, I won't forget that. Keep it real and I respect that. The underdog called me an old hat, and I would get that. Bring the sirens and I'm firing at rappers you're admiring. Doesn't matter if it's global or rappers in my environment. I am in. I spit fire, call the firemen. For hip-hop, all y'all better retire then. Looking at you rappers like my day will come for hip-hop. Put me on a corner, out one by one for hip-hop. Sitting in the trenches waiting on the word.
Yeah.
All I need is a mic and a voice and they're done.
Hey, wherever I'm at, I'm representing for hip-hop. Soon as the kick drop, the lyrical fitness is tip-top. Just need about 40 ticks of a wristwatch to expose the world's coldest flows. If you oppose, then you can kick rocks. Level up, I just severed several competitors. Even took out their cruise producers and video editors. Serving them like I'm Federer, you just regular, degular. Check your temperature, chances molecular against this predator. Two of the best Latin rappers to capture and master the passion, the feeling of bringing the rapture. Exposing these actors, these flows of disasters. Your crew can get fractured, your records get shattered, beats will get battered, but that's just standard. They just lucky I ain't do this in Spanish. Don't need another advantage to remind you that you're just average. If you beat, I jump on this madness. I've really been a beast that's established. All I need is a piece, I'm a savage. Don't get me started, I'm killing y'all for hip-hop.
Looking at you rappers like my day will come for hip-hop. Put me on a corner, out one by one for hip-hop. Sitting in the trenches waiting on the word. All I need is a mic and a voice and they're done.
And we are here. What's up, world?
Yeah.
And the crowds go wild. It's been an amazing time for New York right now. The Mets swept the fucking Yankees, bro.
Oh,
12-3, motherfucker.
listen, word has it that the entire Yankees had diarrhea, and so we're gonna let that slide for as many games as they played.
The Grimace Mets are at it again. It's a good day to be alive. But what's up, world? It is I, your Ramblemania 5-time women's champion, Katie Kaboom. And I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the Suavecito himself.
Suave Ramon, a.k.a. the Bar Christ, a.k.a. Ray Pearson. Yep.
Oh, man. What's up, man? It's been like, what, 2 weeks since we sat here?
Word, it's been a little minute.
But, you know, we here for good reason. Spread the word. But, we here. Welcome to the Rawrrzone Don't Gorilla Talk podcast. And Ray over here designed our new logo. Look at that. Do you want to see this on your screens?
Gorilla Talk podcast.
Oh man. I'm excited though for what we have going on today. Ray, tell the people what we got going on.
We are interviewing a legend. If you're looking in the background of this video, you will see him. Henry Godwinn.
See, I found it.
Sheesh. Come on now.
All right. So without further ado, we're gonna bring up the guest ourselves. Oh no, that's not. No, no. Join the.
Yeah.
Hey,
What
sir. How
up?
are you? Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how
Good,
are you?
good.
Good. How are you guys? Everybody doing good?
Yeah, man. Same thing, different day.
Everything's groovy.
Yeah, I
We're
hear you.
we're honored to be here with you.
Well, I'm glad we hooked up finally.
Yes.
So it's funny. We played one of Ray's songs, and I've always wondered, like, what do you listen? Like, what's your favorite type of music?
Oh my God, I love it all. I was part of the BSK. We were a very diverse group. So with Yoko and Rakishi, we got a lot of the hip hop. That's where I learned about the Booyah Tribe and Mac 10, and then with Godfather, I got a lot of unexpected, you wouldn't think, but a lot of Hank Williams Jr. and Waylon and all the country stuff.
Mm.
And of course, Paul Bear was a big country. So I love country music. I love old Southern rock. I love hip hop. So I'm very well rounded.
Nice.
When so before Ray gets to his question, was there a lot of was there a connection between music and wrestling back in the day as much as it is now?
Oh my God, I think so. Like uh, when we were all running around together, when the BSK was always together, it was a lot of hip hop, a lot of like Coolio and Mac 10, and like I said, the Booyah Tribe, and just a lot of hip hop then too. But then when we weren't all together, it'd be some country mixed in there and a lot of Led Zeppelin, and so we were all over the place. But yeah, like to this day, we still play Mosey Wozy when we all get together. That's like BSK's theme song. That and Coolio. Play Mosey Wozy.
Oh wow, nice. Ray.
Yeah, my apologies. I had to lower the volume. Um, but yeah, let's kick this off. What or who inspired you to become a wrestler? Like, how did you get started in this industry?
Oh my God! Well, we can get technical and go back to when I was in elementary school. My grandfather, that's who got me into wrestling back then, watching it. And then as I got older, God, I always loved it. And how ironic that one of my favorite wrestlers growing up actually signed me to my first contract, Dusty Rhodes. So Dusty's always got a special place in my heart.
And when you debuted in WCW as Shanghai Pierce, like how was your experience working with Dusty?
It was good. I got my start down there. I was going down and being an extra down there. So I worked Eric Watts. I'd been going for about a year and a half, and maybe 2 years. And I was still green, but I had learned a lot. Just from matches and independent circuit, and then going down there, you get a different feel for the business, being around the boys and TV. But I worked Eric Watts one night when Eric first started, and of course Cowboy Bill Watts was running the show, him and Dusty down there at the time. So I had a real good little 8-9 minute match with Eric on TV at Center Stage in Atlanta, and after that, he thanked me and we talked for a little bit, and then Jody Hamilton come up and said, hey, can you go work Eric Watts sometime on the road? And I said, yeah. And I said, when? And they said, well, could you go tonight? So all I had was my gear and what I wore down there to TV, because we always come back home after TV. And so I went on the road. That was my little break. I worked Eric Watts for about a week on the road, and I didn't have any clothes. So Arn Anderson and Italian Stallion and some of the other boys were giving me clothes to wear so I could go on this fiasco, and it was a good decision. I'm glad I got the opportunity and was asked to go.
That's really awesome. Was there any storylines or feuds during your time in WCW that either you really enjoyed or just one you wanted to get over with?
Actually, I loved when, the whole thing, me and Phineas getting started was by Dusty. Dusty loved old Westerns, and he loved the gunfight at OK Corral. So there's two cattlemen in there, Tex Slazenger and Shanghai Pierce. So that's where we got our beginning, was from that movie. Barry Windham told us that because he was in on part of the making of us in WCW, and Mike Graham. And but yeah, that's how Tex and Shanghai got started in WCW. And I enjoyed working under the mask. I felt like I could be a totally different person. I could be a dick if I wanted to, or whatever, But Dusty said, Tex always likes this story. Dusty always said, I had a baby face. I was too good looking, but Tex was ugly enough. That's why he didn't have a mask. So we always tell that story.
Oh man. Your character, where you kept your name. He was a very unique and memorable character. Where did that all start for you? What was it like to do that character?
To do the what character?
The Henry O Godwinn character.
Yeah, well, after me and Hunter and Tex got let go of WCW, about 3 weeks later, Harley Race and Kevin Nash had spoken to the office up north for me. So in 3 weeks, I had a ticket to go up there and meet with Vince and JJ Dillon. So I did, and went up there one day, and we sat in the office for about 3.5 hours just talking. And that's where Henry Godwinn was born, in his office that day, because he asked me what I had done. And, I said, well, I worked at the hospital. I worked on a psych floor. I was drove a tractor trailer. I was athletic and, always in sports. And then we had a big farm. So when I said that, it was like a light bulb went off in his head, because he's an old country boy too. Don't let him tell you he ain't. So, yeah, that's, he said, what do you got on your farm? And I told him, we had cows and chickens and hogs. He says, what do you do with the hogs? So I told him, and man, when I mentioned the slop bucket and all that, it was like, he just went with it. So yeah, we had my name figured out and everything before I left that day.
Wow. Looking back at it, how do you feel your time in WCW contributed to your entire wrestling career?
I look at WCW as a fun time, learning. Of course, we did get to work with some good people down there, like Arn and Bobby Eaton. Loved them guys. And of course, Bagwell and Scorpio, we had hell of matches with, and JYD, and just a lot. We got to work with a lot of people, but it was like a stepping stone. It was like a little learning process. When I got up with Vince and WWF at the time, it was, it was just so refreshing, because I was starting something new. I didn't have a mask. I was a little nervous because me and Phineas, we lived together, we traveled together, and we did everything together. Neither one of us was married at the time. So it was a good opportunity, but yeah, I really loved transitioning into the Henry Godwinn, because I felt comfortable, because I'd been farming. So that wasn't new to me. It was just trying to get all my ducks in a row and get everything straightened out. But I enjoyed it.
And you mentioned Phineas. After leaving, was it always the plan to aim towards heading to WWE?
Yeah, Arn had talked to us a lot there towards the end, we signed a 2-year contract with WCW in 92. So in 94, it was up and they didn't renew it. They got rid of us and they got rid of Hunter and they got rid of somebody. I can't remember who all, but I know us three were definitely gone after that. And, yeah, so I mean, I was cool with it. I was ready to move on. Arn said, "You guys are too good at getting people over." He said, "You make everybody look good, and y'all are doing all the work." So he says, "You ought to go up north. Try it up there." So sure enough, we got our walking papers after our contract was up, and that's what started Henry Godwinn. And then it was always in the playbook to get Phineas up there. He just had to work some stuff out, but he got right and come on up, and we picked up where we left off. We've been friends for 33 years. Never had a bad word between us. So we're called 1%ers in the tag business.
And was it always like a non-compete clause back then, how it is today?
You broke up there. What'd you say now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was there always a non-compete clause back then, like the way it is today when a wrestler is no longer under contract?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
What was that transition like? You're out of WCW, and now the WWE's here. How was that?
Oh, it was easy. I just felt like I was going to get more of an opportunity. It was a lot of young guys, and WCW was bringing all the old guys back, and Flair come out of retirement and bringing all his buddies back, and that's why they're getting rid of the young guys. But hey, it was a blessing in disguise. Me and Hunter went up there and did our thing together. We were thrown together. We were the first each other's opponents, so it was, and me and him had good chemistry, and, it all came down to the hog pen match, and we were married about 6 months together. So we knew how each other worked, and that was an awesome experience.
How were you able to handle the training, and what was training like back in the day?
Well, Phineas didn't train, so I trained with a lot of other people. It was good. I mean, I felt good. I trained with Hunter and China a lot, and I trained with Kane and Taker and Sabia. I mean, I've trained with everybody, and it was hard, but we always got your swell on, go to the gym. It's hard to eat good on the road, but a lot of the boys made it happen, and it wasn't bad at all.
Who was the funniest to be in the gym with?
What's that?
Who was the funniest to be in the gym with?
Oh my God. Probably Kevin Nash. Kevin was fun. Marty Jannetty. Yeah, everybody was pretty serious when you got to the gym. Sabia was fun and always fun to work out with.
Now, all the names that you mentioned, all of you were a part of the Attitude Era. Like, what was it like being part of that revolutionary period in wrestling history?
I was just me and Kevin were texting each other, the Kevin Nash, and I don't know if y'all have seen the iconic picture of all of us on the back of the bus in Germany with Briscoe in the floor, and a lot of people don't know that picture was actually taken by George the Animal Steel with my camera.
Wow.
I was just talking with Matt Lyda. He's the one that does the 9 Line Apparel and does Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast. And I was telling him about that picture and just how iconic it was. And yeah, what a good time that was. The boys were definitely the boys back then. There'll never be another picture like that made again.
Yeah, no, that's a legendary picture.
there used to be only about 5 of the boys that had that picture because I had it made. And then somebody let it out. It lasted for a few years with just kayfabe, but nobody knew, nobody had it. And then somebody let it out on the internet. And it was all over.
Wow. And like during the Attitude Era, like how was the locker room intensity during that? Like, would you say it was friendly competition?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because people always talk about the clique and the BSK, and always wanting to know, did we all get along? You know, that was a hell of a group. I mean, you just go back and look at that picture, and that was the boys back then, and yeah, it was everybody was on the same side. We just wanted to do good, and you know, it's like the BSK. We hung out together, but we also tried to inject stuff into our careers for each other, you know, and sort of push. And of course, you want your friends and you want the business to do good. So that's what we wanted. We wanted everybody to do good, because everybody does good, then we're all making money, and the boss is happy.
What was your toughest feud in the ring?
Probably, well, the Road Warriors, you know, we had a few bouts with. The twins, the Harris twins, we used to have the whipping matches, the strap matches, and those could get pretty crazy.
Okay.
Without mentioning names, were there any wrestlers that you had to return a receipt to?
Yeah, there was a couple.
How bad were they?
Not that bad. Just I call them attention getters.
Okay. I've watched a few interviews from wrestlers throughout the years who say like being a heel for them is better than being a baby face, and you've had the opportunity to play both roles throughout your career. Which role did you enjoy the most?
The heel or the baby?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great question. It's like a double-edged sword, because of course, starting out as a baby face, I loved to hear the cheers and the roars, but then when we went heel, it's like, damn, they're booing the shit out of us. I like this now too. So I could go either way on that. I enjoyed both of them. Of course, when you're a heel, you don't have to do all the interviews and be nice to everybody. We were never mean. We were never intentionally mean to anybody. It was just, you know, we didn't have to do as much shit if we were heels.
Right. And whether it was your time in WCW or WWF at the time, like how was the creative back then?
For WCW?
Either or, like the early, because you were in the earlier years in WCW, and then you know you meet the transition. Like what was the differences with the creative?
Oh, night and day. WWF, it was just is like new people coming in, people that you'd never heard of, and Vince is taking that Raw's talent and then making it into something, and I mean that whole crew, everybody did pretty good, and yeah, it was refreshing to go up there, and it felt like I was starting my career over. I'd learned stuff, but now I was a little more comfortable in a groove. So, and I had good people around me. You know, when I started there, I started riding with Jeff Jarrett, and then Road Dogg, and then they'd start doing their own thing, and then I hopped in with Taker and Paul Bear, and that's how the BSK started, and with Yoko, and so it was a good time.
How was it like dealing with creative under Vince's control?
It was very intense and just, I mean, he one of the best minds ever. So yeah, I was blessed to come in at the time I did and took care of business.
Okay.
And like with Vince, like how important is it for every wrestler to be able to cut a promo? And like what was that an important factor during your run as the Godwinns?
Well, we just did a lot of silly shit. Hillbilly Jim talked for us a lot. So we always had the pigs and the goats and the dogs, and I can still remember or talked on a podcast a couple months ago about this when we took the dog and the goat to the ring and we're on live TV and the dog shits in the middle of the ring. So we're all laughing. I think we're working Al Snow and Marty Jannetty. And so I go to kick this dog turd out of the ring, and it sticks to my boot. So now Earl Hebner's laughing, and everybody's losing it. So, live TV can be tricky sometimes, too.
And like, what qualities do you feel like are essential for success in professional wrestling?
Being quiet, listening, taking everything in, and just keep thinking, keep driving, and respect your fellow wrestlers, men and women around you.
With many wrestling promotions out today, like WWE, TNA, NWA, AEW, OVW, House of Glory, BCW, and so much more, how would you say it's a similar feel to the territories from way back when?
Maybe a little. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, but you got to. I don't know. It's different. The boys are different. It's just a different thing now. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Are you a fan of like what's happening right now? Are you with the product?
I'm hoping that it changes and get back to a little push the envelope and get back to a little risque. If you hurt somebody's feelings, oh well. I mean, shit. Do you think WWF is going to put Confederate shirts on tag team guys now? I mean, it's just the business has changed a lot, so it's a little different.
I was watching one of your earlier matches against Robbie V, better known as Rob Van Dam. Do you ever find yourself watching like your earlier matches?
Yeah. Michael P.S. Hayes, he always brings up me and Van Dam because I did a dark match at Shanghai against Rob Van Dam in Georgia one night for WCW. And he took one of my clotheslines, and Michael P.S. Hayes still said it sounded like a shotgun. So, yeah, I enjoyed working Rob too. Good guy.
And it is aside from RVD, is there any wrestlers that you watch today like that are some of your favorites?
I like the Usos. I was a big Bray Wyatt fan. Yeah, I think there's some progress. If it doesn't try to get too Hollywood and silly, it's not bad. But like the Austin music and the Taker music, just shit like that back then got you going. I mean, I still hear their stuff, the glass breaking or the Undertaker's music, and it still gives me cold chills. So Yeah, but the business is not the business anymore. It's changed and it's different, and that's fine. I'm just old school and stuck in my ways, and I'll never see it, I guess.
Do you still talk with like Hunter and like outside of BSK?
Yeah, I talked to Hunter. Well, I haven't talked to Hunter in a while, in a couple of years since we were at Undertaker's thing in Dallas. But yeah, me and Kevin, text back and forth some. Like I said, we were talking about the picture last week, and it's nice that I'm going to the gathering. Me and Phineas go to the gathering in Charlotte this weekend coming up, the 3rd and 4th. So I like doing the signings because we get to see people we've been friends with for 30 years. So I really enjoy them, and supposed to be going to Austin and doing Taker's 6 Feet Under podcast sometime. So yeah, we got some things lined up, and we'll see what happens.
Word. Being a member of BSK, do you have a funny story you can share with us?
Oh my God, I got so many stories. If you had a month, we might get half of them in. Let's see. Oh man, I gotta watch what I say too. Let me think about it. Can we come back to it?
Absolutely.
So looking back, right? What has your journey, like as a wrestler, all the way up until now? What's your journey taught you?
What's what now?
What has your journey taught you that you didn't know about yourself and about coming like through from the transition to now?
I was a very shy person growing up, so that was hard for me. But I've learned to relax and just sort of go with the flow now. I don't know. I do care about people and their feelings, and I guess I don't know. It was. I've always been like a team player. Sports my whole life: football, baseball, wrestled in high school, and I've always been that team guy. So yeah, just try to be a good person.
Right.
Did the Godwins ever pull a prank on a McMahon?
I don't think so. We had to put Shane McMahon to bed one night because he wanted to drink with the BSK. So that's one little funny story. After I think it was, I can't remember. It was a big pay-per-view. We went back to the hotel, and Vince and Shane come over, and it was the whole BSK sitting there, and he got a little tore up, so we had to put him to bed. But we put a lot of the boys to bed back then.
So Phineas was on The Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast, and he talked about the slop bucket that y'all poured on Sonny. Who came up with the idea to leave the bucket in the middle of the locker room?
Well, I went and did my thing, made the slop, and I brought it in the locker room, and we were still in our dress clothes, and I said, well, tonight Sonny's getting slop, so nobody messed with the bucket, and we had to go talk about the match and stuff. So when I just left it there. When I come back, it was almost filled to the top, so I knew somebody had did something to it.
Wow.
Jim Cornette said there was about 23 different DNAs in that bucket. So,
Do you think Sonny knew what was in the bucket?
I know she did, and not for a while. Uh, I can't believe we were just talking about that, how it stayed closed lipped for as long as it did.
Wow. But she was a good sport about it.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
she was hard to work. She was hard to work with, man. I'm telling you, it was rough.
Hmm.
How long does it take for someone to make themselves clean of the slop bucket mess?
How long did it take? What?
To get clean from getting slop bucketed?
Oh God, I don't know. She may still have some of that stuff on her. It was so thick. I know she had cowboy boots on, shorts, and those little cowboy boots just filled up with all that liquid.
Oh
Ugh.
man.
Ray, I'll drop two names. Razor and X-Pac come in and said they had to use the bathroom. So somebody said my bucket disappeared for about 5 minutes into a stall. So I don't know what happened. To this day, I don't know.
Oh no!
Oh.
Just going by what the boys were telling me in the locker room.
Long live the bad guy.
Yeah.
Um, I just got his Funko Pop too. Would you ever? How would you feel if Funko made a Henry Godwinn Funko Pop?
Henry Godwinn, what?
Funko Pop,
It'd be awesome. Digging it.
like relive the early days.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're talking about doing a BSK book too, so hopefully maybe that'll come out. I got a bunch of pictures.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Just put a picture up and everybody in the BSK tells the story about that picture.
That sounds good though. Like you never know what can come up from it.
Yeah, and I got some Yoko pictures and just of all the guys, Kevin Nash and Sean and Razor, and be a great tribute book.
Would you ever go back? Let's say we went into the more extreme era. Would you ever go back and like either go for another run or go as like to help the younger generation?
Oh yeah, I would love to. I would love, no pun intended, but my bucket list was always to be able to slop Vince. So man, I would go back. I would go back and take bumps for a week if I could get to slop him for one day. That's just fun. Not being mean. I'm just that was always I always wanted to do that. Get the big man with the slop, since it was his great idea.
That does sound. Listen, man. Imagine if you could slop bucket your boss and not get fired.
Yeah, but I would love to go back and slop Hunter one more time. Maybe even Steph.
Oh, so did you ever think you all those years ago you slopped Hunter and now he's like the COO of the entire company?
Yeah, he's the man.
Okay, so technically you fulfilled your dream by slopping the head of WWE.
Yeah, before he was the hot shot, before he was fancy pants.
Sometimes writers they take things like the origins of the APA and turn them into like an on-screen storyline, gimmick, team, etc. Do you think BSK versus the Click would have worked?
Uh, that would have been cool angle to do. And a lot of people have talked about it. I mean, can you imagine?
Like
Wow.
like a Survivor Series
Yes, exactly.
War Games match,
Yeah,
BSK versus the Click.
that would have been freaking awesome. I would almost go back and try to do that now with who we got left.
Hmm.
That's a good question, though.
Do you have another story? I'm sorry, my mind went to a blank for a second. My apologies.
Uh-huh.
The who do you see if you were to come back? Who, like you said, you wanted to slot bucket that, but there are other people you wanted to possibly work with?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing singles, me and Hunter got to work. I would have loved to have worked with Taker or Stone Cold. I read me and Mankind worked on a pay per view. Somebody didn't show up, so I got to work with Mankind in Vancouver on a pay per view. So he would have been fun, even as with the Mr. Sacco and all that stuff. Would have been, and I mean, just Taker, Sean, anybody. I worked Brett 2 weeks in a row. We had this little thing on TV, which was an awesome time. So I could have worked with anybody up there. I do have that much confidence to know I could have done that.
Speaking of Mankind, were you present or you happened to watch the iconic Hell in a Cell match? Like, how did you, like, watching it happen? Like, what thoughts ran through your mind?
Just, is he alive? Yeah, that was pretty crazy, and I was there for that. Couldn't believe it. It was a hell of a match. Scary.
Like, was the locker room more like in silence, or like was anybody like going crazy?
It was more like, oh, ooh, yeah, a lot of excitement.
What was your favorite pay per view back in the day?
I like the Survivor Series because we did the one with Undertaker. We did and it was all BSK. Me and me and Rikishi, Sabio, and Taker against Mabel, Lawler, Hunter, and Isaac Yankem. Yeah, the Survivor Series. Yeah, so I always liked that. Of course, WrestleMania, but the in your house, just the little in your houses. Me and Hunter had the hog pen match in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
And for those who don't know, Isaac Yankem, before everybody knew him as Kane, he was Isaac Yankem.
Yep, that's right.
If you was to what would be because you mentioned Survivor Series, what would be a dream match for you?
Oh, I would have loved to have had a big cage match. That would be one I wish we could. Something, like a Hell in the Cell or something big like that. We did do a couple cage matches, but they weren't televised, against the Road Warriors in their hometown. So that was fun. That was big. It was a good night. But yeah, a big cage match would have been fun.
With today's generation of wrestlers, and I know you mentioned that the business isn't the same. What is a common mistake you feel like a lot of the younger wrestlers are making today?
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't even watch it that much anymore. I don't know. It just doesn't seem the same to me. It's hard for me to explain, but just the camaraderie doesn't seem like it's there like it was back in the day. We didn't have these phones, and we had pagers, and the Godfather got us from Vegas. So we had pagers, and, we had road maps, and we had each other, and we had rental cars. We didn't have buses, and we didn't have private planes. And so we depended on each other a lot. And we were still learning. I don't know. I can't imagine being on a bus with everybody traveling like that. I'm more, hey, the boys get in the car. We talk our shit going down the road. We talk over matches, and hit a blunt or whatever, and we're good.
So you a current pothead or no?
What's that?
Like, do you still smoke weed or no? Now that it's all legal.
Yeah, I got my medical card, so I'm all good.
Oh shit!
Don't mess with me.
Oh, we got a comment from the audience. John Redondo wrote, "Hey Henry, what was the most brutal WWE match you ever saw?"
I ever saw. Oh. Probably mine after I watched it back when I broke my neck against the Road Warriors.
Is it weird to watch yourself wrestle?
Yeah, it took me a while to watch that. That was that messed with me for a little bit, but yeah, I can watch it now. But yeah, just could have been prevented, but they wanted me to take the flip, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it because Hawk wasn't himself that night. So, but I didn't stooge him out. Sure enough, broke my neck, and here we are. That changed the history of our career.
And after everything went down, like how was the engagement as soon as you got to the back? Like, were there apologies?
Yeah, later, because they got me back. They took my overalls down to my waist and laid me on a cold concrete floor because my body was already going into protect mode. Everything was stiffening up, so they wanted to try to keep me from going in shock or whatever. And because I had pieces of teeth in my mouth that had broke, and but yeah, it happened, and I wish it wouldn't have, but they apologized, and of course I wrestled. I went home and was supposed to be home 14 weeks, and was back on the road 6.5 weeks, and wrestled almost 2 months with a broken neck. And Vince had a trainer with me every night working on me. And in September of '98, we were supposed to get the belts for a third time at TV that night against Road Dogg and Badass Billy Gunn. We were supposed to take them from them. And they told me to go home and, get everything checked and see what was going on. And so I left that night and had spinal fusion 3 or 4 months after that.
And do you still go through like any pain today?
Not bad. Just the regular arthritis we all got. 30 some years of this shit on top of 10 years of football, 4 years of high school wrestling, and 10 years of baseball.
Oh, so you were very athletic.
Yeah.
Did it all.
What do you like about sports and sports entertainment?
What's that?
What do you like from just being involved in sports and sports entertainment as a whole?
I guess gratifying just being able to either make somebody cuss you or make somebody laugh at you or make somebody smile, and just being a part of a team. I like different working components of a team, and it takes everybody to make that happen. And I just feel like back then it was a little different. It was easier. We all knew what we wanted. We were working for a higher goal.
So currently, Paul Ellering, who used to manage LOD, is now managing the Authors of Pain. If you can go back and manage talent, who would you manage, and how would you go about getting that talent over?
Oh my God. I haven't watched it that much. Bray Wyatt, I would have loved to have been part of that. Just, with they always wore the goat I think it was the goat heads and just weird stuff like that, which, we dabbled into animals too. So I just think something like that would have been cool to have been part of. You could have did a lot with that.
Like a rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Henry Wyatt.
Henry Wyatt, yeah.
Oh man.
And bring out a badass wild hog with big long tusks or something. Just their gimmick was the dark side, and we could have made ours that too. It could have been pretty cool.
Or even Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have brought you back like as his father.
Yeah.
Speaking of great, how do you feel about the current White Six?
I haven't seen it, but I think one time, man, I know both them boys. I know the whole family, and he really looks like his brother. I think if they do it right, just take their time, and I think it'll be good.
Who would you put as a writer for them? Because you see how well it worked for like Undertaker and Kane, especially having Paul Bearer by their side throughout their careers to go into that type of characters being dark. Like who would be the perfect writer for that?
Oh my God, I don't even know who's writing. Sean and Hunter should be able to come up with something there.
Okay. OG, those are all the questions from me. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to actually sit down with us. It was an honor to kick back with you and to hear about all the times that we grew up seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Ray, any final thoughts?
I enjoyed it, man.
I'm so glad. We got to do it again.
Yeah, Absolutely. We'll do it again. Tell some more stories. We may get deeper on something else.
There you go. Before we close out, what advice would you give an up and coming wrestler looking to make a name for themselves in today's industry?
I'll tell you what some old timers told me. Shut your mouth, go in the locker room, act your age, listen, stay focused, have a good positive attitude, be willing to learn something new every day. I mean, I told somebody that a month ago on a podcast. I said, man, you could go back then, you could go and just learn just one little thing and just keep doing that. And finally, you're going to have a big repertoire. You're going to have something to work with. But, yeah, just keeping a good attitude and be humble, but be strong and listen and be willing to learn something. And be willing to help somebody else.
That's awesome. So we got one last comment from John Redondo. Fun fact, after Henry left wrestling after 1998, he returned to wrestling in OVW in March 2006 in a dark match versus, you will be amazed, but I was confused, Mr. Chuckles the Clown, who was the one that booked that?
Who was doing the booking?
Who did the booking for that? I'm assuming that's what, I'm just going off what I read.
Oh my God, I'm trying to think. I know Paul Heyman was up there. Oh, I can't remember who it was. Was it Danny Davis up there? Yeah, it's been so long, I can't remember.
And Chuckles wasn't Doink, right?
What's that?
Chuckles wasn't Doink, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
See, that's who busted my teeth out, was Doink. California. First night of a 4-day tour.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And he got 8 stitches right there from my teeth.
Oh, shit. See, don't you miss when wrestling was all blood?
Yeah, blood and guts, man.
You mentioned Paul Heyman. What was it like to be able to work with Paul Heyman and see like the early stages of what he is now?
He's another high-strung, good mind. He would be good to put on the Wyatt thing. It was a good time to be in wrestling because there was people to learn from. People, some people really wanted to help other people out, and like I said earlier, that was good for the business. Good for all of us. We worked together.
Yeah. So Henry, for all of those who are watching right now, where can they find you?
Just Henry O Godwinn on Instagram. It's all one word. That's the best place to find me. That's
Ray,
where I put all the wrestling stuff.
are you in the wrestling podcast you follow?
Yeah.
Ray?
What's next for Henry O Godwinn?
Just like I say, I got Charlotte this weekend coming up, the 3rd and 4th for the gathering. It's going to be awesome. Be a bunch of men and women there that you'd want to come out and see, and we'll have some of our new dolls. So come on out, check it out.
Sorry, hold on one second. My computer started bugging out. My apologies. What?
What's that?
Sorry, my computer froze on me and a pop-up came up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, the Godwins are in Charlotte this week, the 3rd and 4th for the gathering. There's going to be a bunch of men and women you want to see there that weekend. I think it's a 3 or 4 day thing. So if you guys are in the area, come on out, check it out. We're going to have some new dolls out. So come check us out.
Ray, get your car, bro. We out. Let's go.
Right away. Hop on my Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Where you guys at?
We're in New York.
New York?
Well, he's in Jersey.
Yeah, currently.
But he's from the Bronx.
Well, next time we'll talk about Jersey and New York. I got some stories.
Ah. We're going to leave it at a to be continued now.
That's it.
To be continued.
Make them drool a little.
That's awesome. Oh, man. I mean, of course, a lot of things will happen in New York and Jersey.
Yeah. Good times. And then I can think of some stories I can tell.
Ooh. Listen, take all the time you want.
Absolutely.
All right. Ray Suave, where can they find you?
You already know, everywhere at It's Ray Pearson, itsraypearson.com.
What's up with your homegirl, Katie, Ivy, whatever you want to call me. Just talk to me nice because Bob Marley don't like ugly. You can find me everywhere at IamIvy.exo_. Follow Rawrrzone everywhere at Rawrrzone NYC. Stay tuned for more wrestling and more music and whatever else from me and Ray. And yeah, we are out of here.